A few days ago, I was asked by a collector to whom I was extolling the virtues of the works of Lev Meshberg, well, how do you know he's a great artist? And this is my answer to this collector as well as to all of our collectors. What does it take to be a great artist? And why is Lev Meshberg a great artist? Well, the first part of that answer is that you have to have your own voice. You have to have a unique voice that is different from everyone else's voice. Think of Picasso. A Picasso is a Picasso. Chagall. A Chagall is a Chagall. And you know that immediately. And when you look at the works of Lev Meshberg is a Lev Meshberg. And there are three different elements that make that voice very unique. And the first one is that underneath all of the compositions of Lev Meshberg, there's the structure of a musical composition. And when you look at this painting, this marvelous triptych, you can see that there is, and sense that there is, the structure of a sonata. And as a matter of fact, when you do a comparative analysis, as it's done in the catalog, you have that perfect parallel between the structure of a sonata and the structure of that painting. That's why so many great musicians collect the works of Meshberg, because they immediately sense that. But you have more. If you look at this painting right behind me, there is a tremendous sense and understanding of tones. Why is Las Meninas by Velázquez considered by most to be the greatest painting ever painted? Because of the rightness of the tones. And you can say that of many of the paintings of Meshberg. There is the rightness of tones. You have some extremely delicate tones, variations within those tones, and he has a tremendous sense of that. And the third element that you find in the works of Lev Meshberg is an understanding of the intimate relationships between objects that we take for granted or do not see. It was hinted at by Chardin and then totally discovered by Cézanne. And Lev Meshberg has that understanding. The essence of great painting is the individual way of seeing things. Nothing else matters. But you need much more than that. You need to have passion. You need also to work very hard, and every great artist has worked very hard. Think of this great story by Chardin. Chardin was talking to another artist who had found a way of mixing colors in a new way, and he was all excited by this. And Chardin tells him, but you know, you do not paint with colors. And so the astonished artist asks Chardin, what do you paint with? You paint with passion. You might use colors, but you paint with passion, said Chardin. Great quote by Lev Meshberg. Art has captured my life and my soul. It makes me happy. And he also said, art is a religion. I'm a fanatic of that religion. This is a man who has been an artist since the age of 3. When he works, time ceases to exist. He forgets to eat. He forgets to sleep. He has been working at his art for 68 of his 71 years. You have to be aware that you are part of the continuum of art. Lev Meshberg put it that way.
A real artist never lives in present time. He lives with 3 dimensions, past, present, and future.
Well, the last time we went there, I told him that we had just seen in the Louvre a beautiful drawing by Michelangelo showing the expulsion from the Garden of Eden that he had done after Masaccio in the church of Santa Maria del Carmine in Florence, in the Brancusi Chapel, which has been nicknamed the schoolroom of the Renaissance, because all the great artists of the Renaissance went there to study art and to study the works of Masaccio. So as Michelangelo was drawing, and this is the story told by Lev Meshberg, with a lot of movement and excitement, there was another artist next to him, and then Michelangelo looked at what the other artist was doing and said, you don't get it. And I said, look, I mean, it's... And the guy got so upset that he punched Michelangelo in the nose, broke his nose, and this artist, who had created so much beauty throughout his life, was always aware of his own ugliness. As Meshberg was telling us that story, right in the piazza below, this is in Carrara, where Michelangelo used to get his marble, there were some people quarreling at the top of their lungs. We were back in the Renaissance. We were back during that period of time. And then Meshberg went on about every other artist. He went on about Rembrandt, as if Rembrandt had been a next-door neighbor. He knows more about art and artists than all of my colleagues put together. It's amazing. Meshberg, the man, and Meshberg the artist are deeply rooted in the art of the past. He went into exile from the Soviet Union, where he was a celebrated artist. He had all the privileges, simply to be able to see the great works of the Renaissance. They didn't let him out, and so he had to go into exile. If you look at his home, it's filled with books on artists and his own variations on the works of artists. You have a Cézanne there by Meshberg, Morandi by Meshberg, a Marquet by Meshberg. Remember that great quote by Sir Isaac Newton, "If I've seen so far, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants." Lev Meshberg stands on very big shoulders. That's why he can see very far. And Meshberg is like a tree with many branches going in different directions. And each branch of the tree shares certain common characteristics with the tree itself, but has also special features. And in this exhibition, in this catalog, you are going to see 4 major areas of the work of Lev Meshberg. Still lifes, you are going to see also cityscapes and landscapes, portraits, and homages to the great masters. "You can express anything you want with a few flowers and fruits," said Edouard Manet. And like Chardin and Cézanne and Morandi, Meshberg has made still life a major part of his activity as an artist. Meshberg's still lifes emanate the quiet intensity found in churches, theater, and sacred spots in nature. Still life is something that allows him to connect to his environment, objects from his homeland. It ensures that, in a sense, he's always home. Pieces picked up on his journeys also connect him to his travels and stand in for the landscapes he has witnessed in passing. He painted still lifes because he could contemplate familiar objects in an unfamiliar land. Objects are actors. Compositions are comedies or tragedies. Light and textures in still lifes objects hover in space, coronated with a kind of nostalgic grace. This is what Cézanne said: "Objects interpenetrate one another. They never stop living. They spread themselves about imperceptibly